I'm sorry, Andrew Weissman, but if I recall correctly, in 2018, you were one of the people who helped write the Mueller report, and you all botched the hell out of that.
And never in my wildest dreams would I have thought we would be here. I thought we were better as a country.
Oh, yeah.
Like all these sites that have been around for creating videos and all that, like text stock videos, they're done.
But that's why Canva was one of the first to get into doing AI.
What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe show, the home of Epic Conversations. And I'm the host of Epic Conversations, 2018 Innovation Award winner, 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I'd like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. And we're broadcasting live on October 26th here in Toronto. The cool weather has come, and I got to start raking leaves or get the leaf blower going. I know Lala's going in the background. Yeah, leaves. Yeah, I know. It's about that time. You know, leaves are happening. But yeah, co-host and co-producer of the only online show in the world for dads and fathers. It's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And since 2020, our team has reached out directly and indirectly to over 400,000 dads, fathers, and male caregivers. But it ain't all about that, because it's time for the best place to be on a Saturday evening, wherever you are in the world, even on the delay. Yes, even on the replay. It's time for Primetime Saturdays with Queen Aisha and Queen Lala. What's going on, Queens?
I am loving Aisha's background.
Well, she better unmute so we can hear her too. That's better. Like a background's good, but we need the vocal.
Yeah, this is like that last push, reminding everybody. It's like if you have early voting, get out. Otherwise, we're 9 days away, 10 days.
Wow.
Yeah, with a blink of an eye. Blink of an eye.
Well, what's happening outside of that?
Oh, life.
Aisha got her laptop back. Yay!
Yeah, I did get my laptop back, yes.
So she got her laptop back, and I was saying, like, people may wonder, what do these guys do before they put the live button? Well, me, I like to get half an hour before, make sure all the stories are all right, and then, listen to some music. And today, and I was sharing this with Lala, I said, I'm in a Kenny Loggins mood. So I put on some Kenny Loggins, and there were two songs. I've Got the Melody, where he's lead, and backup singer is a wonderful vocalist named Patty Austin. And then I played another song called Enter My Dream, which is basically him, and there's some backup vocals. I'm going, you know what? I'd love to see a video of Lala and Will doing that, because I just know it'd be just magical.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to see that. It just put me in such a beautiful, calm, just put everything from the previous in the day, I just put it away, and I was just like, So that
I was napping before the show and watching CSI Miami.
Oh yeah, hey, isn't it nice that Dateland's back to 2 hours?
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
On Friday nights, it's back to 2
Friday
hours.
night. It's back. And I've been keeping up with my true crime, but Pluto has a CSI. They have a CSI channel, CSI New York channel, CSI Miami. So I put on one of those to fall asleep at night.
Oh, okay.
Aisha, I swear we're sisters, because that's what I do at nighttime. I put on these podcasts, and I be like, and I just be listening. They're so good. There's a new one now out that does a crime, American Homicide. That's a podcast, and it's really good. And it goes to places that are strange. Like they'll talk about like maybe something that happened in Alaska, something in Albuquerque, and weird areas. And it's really good. So check it out.
All right. And
I don't get paid for that. I just like podcasts.
There's
Me
no
too.
reason.
And I like my true crime. Yeah.
I do too. I do too. Like after these shows, what I do, I watch 48 Hours.
So
And
while
Yeah.
I found out on Twitter that there are a lot of people who watch or listen to true crime to fall asleep.
Yeah, me.
Yeah,
you
me
know,
too. And but the reason for it, I think, and a lot of people said it. I know, I realized it for myself. It's that you get, they do these shows, the majority of them in such a way that you get to see justice at the end. And oftentimes we don't really see that kind of justice play out in real life.
Yeah.
very nice, very nice. So, in the comment section, of course, Lala's in the house. What is that? What look is that? I'm just looking at that.
My Halloween look.
Oh, okay. I'm going, what that? Like I see the flirty hair. Then I'm going, what are those glasses? It's okay, all right. And number one fan of ours, Jen Meyer says hello, everyone. Aisha says hello, everyone. Jen Meyer says Kenny Loggins is fantastic. Did you see him live? If you've seen him live, oh man, the closest I've seen him live is there's a great video of YouTube of him in a show. Him and I think there was a time where him and Michael McDonald toured together. Oh, wow.
Yeah, because they're big together.
Yeah, and then they did one of the songs is they did well, and then David Foster came on for a song and they did Heart to Heart. Remember that TV show?
Yeah, yeah.
Was it Stephanie Powers and
Stephanie Powers and who's the guy that was married to Natalie Wood?
Robert something.
Yeah, Robert
oh,
Wagner.
thank you.
Yes.
And like
during COVID, my daughter and I spent it would come on Hallmark Mystery and Movies from like 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. and we'd watch it at that time because
wow.
nobody's going anyplace, so you had pretty much all day to do whatever, right? So
yeah, but he's tied into true crime too. Remember?
Yeah.
Who?
Robert Wagner.
Oh yes.
Of what happened with Natalie Wood.
Yes.
And you know who else is in that? What's that guy? Oh God. Chris Walken.
Yes, I love him. His story is amazing. You know, he
really
is truly a professional dancer.
What?
He's a professional dancer. He absolutely loves it. Him and his wife used to do competitions all the time. So that's why he takes such an easy thing when y'all see him doing like Fat Boy Slim and all that stuff. That's his love. He loves dancing.
You know what I saw a video of this week? I saw a video from way back when of Gregory Hines and Steve Martin tap dancing together.
Yes.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes. Oh wow. Okay, so Jen Meyer says she's doing well, and Jen Myers, I have a good jealousy of you right now. I absolutely loved him. Yes, that's the show I saw. Michael McDonald, was fabulous. Also, I would have loved that. Well, and it brings up another conversation topic. We will get to America in a second, folks. We'll get there.
It ain't going nowhere right now.
So, seeing artists who are up there in age and paying concert tickets, the prices to see them. So, I'll be honest here. I've never really wanted to do it, and there was a progressive rock band that I love, and like they hadn't toured in a long time, and the guy's like, the bass player is 78, the guitarist is 70, and I said, I said, you know what? They're touring, and like they haven't toured in years. I'm going, and like I'm going, and usually when I'm like that, when I'm uncertain about something, I don't do it. But I said to myself this time, I said, you know what? So about 2 or 3 days before the show, I began hunting for tickets. Like when the show was announced, there were tickets. And there were, and then 2 or 3 days before, I said, okay, I go on to StubHub.
You did it.
Yeah.
Well, I saw George Clinton a couple of years back. The town I was living in Connecticut, the local city hall had paid for him to come do his summer concert in the park.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to go to the park because the park was like right around the corner from my apartment. So I could see from the parking lot. So I sat in the parking lot with my daughter and I could see from the parking lot. It was really good.
Yeah. And so I bought the ticket and say, okay. So, and here's another big thing. I went by myself.
Mm.
Did you?
Yeah, I went by myself, and and the funny thing is, and it was definitely an older crowd. And the thing is that, and there was a young guy sitting beside me who was younger than me, and I go, "What the heck you doing here?" Right? He says, "No, I
Because
loved it."
music talks to everybody.
Yeah, and we had such a great time, good conversation. So
When I saw Prince, I went by myself.
yes, and so I broke a barrier, family. I went to a concert, but first time maybe in years I went by myself. So I said, now, okay, I'm going to go back and do it. Look who's in the house, Dr. Tachi. What is going on, Dr. Tachi? Oh, we'll got a big announcement about Indie Soup Meeting. Just I saw, well, it's a milestone was reached. If you follow Indie Soup Media, you'll see the link in just a second. So I went to a concert by myself. I said, you know what? I feel good. I feel good. I feel good. And it was on a Friday night, downtown Toronto, madness, but survived it. And I said, you know what? More to come. So more to
Sometimes
come.
there's just a solitude in going to a concert by yourself where it's like, you don't have to share the experience with anyone. You don't have to worry about, whether or not you're still connecting with the person who's next to you. You can just kind of throw yourself into the show.
Tick, 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 tick.
Love it.
As I say tick. So now I'm on the hunt. So I'm saying, oh, Will Downing's coming to Buffalo? Maybe we'll have to go. But I think I can rally up some posse to go see Will Downing in Buffalo. I think I could
Yeah, I
make
don't think we have any problem with that.
No, I don't think we'll have any difficulties with that one. But yeah, that is cool. Well, okay. Let's get to the preliminaries. Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala at Patreon, otherwise aka Girlfriends Chat.
Yes.
Is there. But anything new going on with Girlfriends Chat? Other
We
than
have a new
scandal?
one. I'm going to actually finishing the edit up tomorrow. I'm going to post it tomorrow, but it's really us talking about voting and what's at stake in these last couple of days and what people need to keep in mind. Some of the tricks and things that are going to go on and what people just need to be mindful about.
Okay, good stuff. There's the store and products link, and you will see this in your comment section live and on the replay. Join the Discord group. Email me dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube and hit the notification button. Follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And to advertise your business or product or service on any of these platforms, reach out to us. And yes, Indie Soup Media, where the edited versions of this epic conversation are broadcast. It's driven by our good friend Dr. Tachi, who's live with us in the chat. Over 40 independent content creators. I guess Dr. Tachi, what, 6, 7, 8 months old? But they have passed 20,000 YouTube subscribers.
Oh, wow.
Congratulations.
That's so awesome. Congrats.
20,000 YouTube subscribers. So let's see what's going on here. Oh, Jen's making me more jealous. Michael McDonald has an all-female brand. Had an all-female band. Michael McDonald. That's no surprise. And there's another gentleman. If he comes again, even close, I'm going. And that's great. I went to see Samara Joy by myself on Wednesday. All right, so I'm not alone. So does anyone know who Samara Joy is? Dr. Tachi, was that someone you mentioned during one of the morning vibe shows when we talked about musical artists? Something tells me that it is. And then she says, thank you. Yes, 20,000 YouTube subscribers. That's big.
That's amazing.
That's big. And she works very hard for that. Very, very much so. All right. So since there's an election in America November 5th, if you don't like talking American elections, you probably should bail right now. All right. So just, was it a program alert? I'm giving you that program alert right now. All right. So first conversation piece. This is classic.
Oh, the first conversation piece before we get to that point is to remind people,
okay,
election night.
Yes.
We're doing a special show.
Yes. November 5th is, we do. Yeah. So we have one more Primetime Saturday before an election night, but yes, show alert, November 5th. These two ladies,
Panel.
hopefully Jill Jones. I'm sure the other cast that carried us from before, Cesar, Wayne, and Ryan from Canada. We're going to be hanging out, and as
Dr.
well,
Tachi.
Dr. Tachi too. I already have said what I think is going to happen, and I think I'm even more convinced now. But these two ladies are going to hit me over my bald head digitally after we finish this at the end. But let's get back to this first. Did 45 praise Hitler?
Yeah,
Yes,
I believe John. I believe John Kelly. I mean, why not? I mean, what does John Kelly have to gain by lying? I mean, what does he have to gain? The people on the right are vicious. They are vicious people, and you know, it's like he told a truth that people then on the right just kind of were like, okay, and you know, Kamala Harris needs to, Mitch McConnell and Johnson over here, oh, Kamala Harris needs to tone down her rhetoric. She called Donald Trump a fascist, which he's been calling her since July, right? And prior to July, he was calling Biden a fascist. So it's like, dude, you did he praise Hitler? Well, why is he having a Hitler-esque kind of rally at Madison Square Garden, just like Adolf Hitler did in what was it, 1934, 1939?
Yeah, but it's well known, it's documented that he keeps Hitler's memoirs and everything about Hitler on his nightstand.
His first wife said it.
His first wife told it. She completely let it out and then let everybody know. This isn't anything new. What bothers me, and it's always bothered me, is the fact that his cult doesn't care. They are willing to lay absolutely everything down for him. And here's what scares me. I mentioned this to someone this week, and then I really thought about it. And then I was like, oh my God, that is so true. They literally would allow this man to set them on fire and still be on fire praising his name. This is the same thing that happened with Hitler. His followers were completely behind him, but he's following the exact same pattern that Hitler did, because Hitler at first was not who everybody knows at the end. Hitler slowly got in there. Then he started looking like he was doing good and people were following him and he was for the country. And next thing you know, we got where we got and the whole world got involved. This man praises everything that Hitler did because this is the path that he wants and this is the glory that he wants. And what frightens me is we have seen this. We have talked about this. We have shown people that this is exactly what he's doing, but still yet people will not wake up to the truth.
Right. And I think we need to be very specific here. And Lala and I did have this conversation on our girlfriend's chat this week. We've got to be very specific. The people that he most is attracting, where his numbers are the largest, are white men. Mm-hmm. We also have to recognize that when you take all the other groups that follow Kamala Harris and you put their numbers together, they far outnumber white men in this country, which goes to your point, Dr. Vibe, about, you know, you thinking that he's going to be able to pull it off. It's a numbers game. When you look at it strategically, can he really pull it off if he hasn't expanded his base beyond bro culture, beyond that group of white men that have been with him since 2016? He hasn't grown it. It is an infinite, it's not an infinite number of men. It's a definitive number of men, largely white, that are going to follow him. And we have to get past all of the tricks and things. This whole thing about, you know, him, what he said about praising Hitler. Well, on the right, the trick is, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, he didn't say that. Rather, but here's the thing you didn't hear. You didn't hear Donald Trump say, I unequivocally did not say that. What you heard him say was, John Kelly's a loser.
And that's what he always does. But anybody who doesn't agree with him or fit into his agenda now becomes the enemy. Now, listen, he was on Joe Rogan
Joe Rogan for
Made his people
3
wait 3 hours
freaking
while he did that.
hours.
3 hours.
3 hours spitting rhetoric, spitting hatred, spitting everything. And everybody's like, oh, nobody else is doing that. They're eating it all up. Everything that they claim that is good about this man can be proven with facts to be wrong. But they're so blind to the fact that they don't care. Because why? I have said it before and I will say it again. What is the most common that they have with Donald Trump, because he'll throw them away in a heartbeat, which he plans to do, is their hatred.
Yeah.
He taps into their hatred. You and I both hate this. So therefore, we're going to do this together.
They would
But what they don't
rather
understand
have
is his hatred for them, with them as well. He's only using them to get the power that he wants. And yes, that is exactly what Hitler did. So of course he wants to say, and I quote, I need the kind of generals that Hitler had, highlighting the administration for the unwavering obedience. What does that sound like, y'all? Unwavering obedience. That's his cult.
Look, if you were to tell me, Aisha, you said that you praised Hitler. If I didn't say it, I unequivocally did not say that. You better fix your mouth. Where did I say it? See, but that's not what he did. Put it this way, by deflecting and just pivoting to attacking John Kelly, he told you he did say it.
Yes.
Because the thing is, the first thing is that if somebody asks you that, the first thing you say is no, not, well, John Kelly's a loser. You don't, every Republican accusation is an admission. Okay? Everything it's an admission. And here's the thing. He disrespects, that's what Lala was saying. He disrespects these people so much. He did that 3-hour interview with Joe Rogan while making his people wait, while he was 3 hours late to his rally. And most of them sat there, some left, but most of them sat there and waited. That level of disrespect, it's like they would rather, put it this way, they would rather suffer through 200, 300% tariffs on goods and services than to have other people have health care that they themselves have.
Yeah.
That is this bonkers way of thinking, but that is the cycle of white supremacy.
But it's the truth.
And so you have this group of people that follow him off that cliff. But to your point, Dr. Vibe, the thing is that he hasn't expanded beyond that. Kamala Harris, the key here, the secret ingredient to the recipe for winning is, like Barack Obama, is expanding that coalition of people that it goes beyond just your base of voters. When we talked about this the other day, me and Lala, we had to make it very clear. Yes, the news media has been focusing, Black men are turning towards Trump. They're not. Let's be very clear. A 1% bump isn't Black men turning toward Trump. Remember, Trump got fewer Black men the last time than he got in 2016. And not only that, but Kamala Harris has 87% of the Black male vote. It'd be different if Trump pulled 30% of that vote from her. But he's not even doing
he keeps
that.
pulling people on stage to be pawns. And the
And
people who are there to
don't even know.
pawns, the people who are there to be the pawns really have no clout. Like, who did you say, Aisha, some dude? We were like, who is that?
Trick? He brought some guy named Trick up in Michigan. You know who Kamala Harris had, and she wasn't even there? Eminem. So here's the thing. He just assumes, Black people, they like rappers, so we'll just get this rapper here. He's the most gaudiest looking, awful rapper, grills and everything. Black people gotta love him. He's got gold teeth like my gold sneakers. They gotta love him. And Black people, even young people, are like, who's that? Where did he find him? And the thing is,
It's fake promises. It's hope of getting something from him as well.
right.
They get to be in front of extra people to get their eyes on them. All the stories that we're talking about tonight are all tied into one another and has caused me to really sit down and reflect on a lot of the things that I am seeing, in the fact that when you say things like this, the cult, the mega group, take it and hold it so dear to their heart. And I've actually, I went in and did my research this week on people who I know who are complete mega, who are off on their pages, off their rocker, and they grabbed onto all of these people. And then, but see, the black people, the black people like him. See, don't believe the media. The black people like him. Oh,
And I'm
look,
sorry, Candace Owens isn't all
like him
47 million black
So,
people.
yeah. So they take one, and especially an unknown, and they take it to heart that it's a collective.
Yeah, and the other part of it too is, I think we're at a point. Kamala Harris, the campaign has been smart. They have circled back to where they started this campaign. At Roe. She's really hammering that message. Yes, last night in Texas with Beyonce, and tonight with Michelle Obama. They have circled back to that initial argument, because here's the thing. The only thing that Trump has said, apart from tariffs, is immigration. Well, when you put immigration up against bodily autonomy, immigration for a lot of people, yeah, it's a problem, but my God, you mean to tell me if I need to see this doctor for breast cancer, gynecological cancer, and they can't treat me? That's something totally different. And let's be very clear. Men don't know. A lot of men don't know this or understand this, but women, who diagnoses your breast cancer? Who checks your breast health? Your gynecologist.
All right.
The doctor that looks over your reproductive health.
Give me some grace. As usual, there is a myriad of comments I need to catch up on.
No, please do. We'd love to hear what everybody says.
Okay. So Dr. Taji says, of course he praised him.
Mm-hmm.
Michelle Hayward says, I saw, and this is interesting. I wonder if YouTube may take this because we're mentioning Hitler, but I saw Hitler and was so confused. I didn't click on the link because I thought it was the wrong place. Dr. Tide says, and these people who love to scapegoat when it appears things are going wrong for them. The issue is that they need to be pointing their finger at themselves.
And they do, though. Can I please address that?
Yeah.
Because Dr. Tati, you are so right. Here's the thing. I absolutely, it boggles my mind that the things that they are pointing fingers at others and claiming on these falsehoods are exactly what they are. Like they're racist. Who are you talking to? Because obviously you ain't talking to us. You're pointing out your flaws, but yet they're inflicting them on the other side, which to me, that's mental illness. I'm sorry. It's freaking mental illness. There's got to be a diagnosis for that somewhere.
Yeah. And I think that going to Dr. Tachi with the pointing the finger at themselves, I think they already know that they've lost this Dr. Vibe. They've got 80 cases in the courts right now challenging the results of the election, and the election hasn't even happened. Not only that, they're setting up different groups to blame. If put it this way, if Trump loses, he's planning to blame the Jews. They're planning to blame black men. That's why they keep saying that black men are leaving Trump and leaving Kamala Harris in droves, because they're setting up to use black men as a scapegoat if they lose.
They've already told you that's what he's set it up. He has constantly said over and over, it's the Jedi mind trick. I'm so dead serious. It's not even funny. That sounds like something crazy, Jedi mind trick, but it's true. If you say something to people over and over and over, at some point, subconsciously, they start to believe it. So he started early, very early on, by saying, if I don't win, it's because they cheated.
Mm-hmm.
This is the message that he's already put into their head. So they're not accepting any kind of defeat.
Yep.
All right. So
80 cases.
more
80.
comments. So I don't know if Michelle, it was a typo, or I think she meant to say white men who benefit from the labor of everybody else. Dr. Chachi says exactly. Hey, wig maniac, what's going on? Also, Dr. Tachi says, which is why I detest the Joe Rogan show. It also should make us look sideways at the platform that would pay him $200 million without regard for who he is and what his message is.
$200 million when the what did he get famous for? Hosting what? The whatever that show, The Survivor or whatever it was, he was host of a game show. What is he talking politics for?
Okay.
But the whole thing is, y'all, all the protests, remember, we had the protests. People were pulling their music. I know one of my my favorite female singer-songwriter pulled her shit quick, and it was Joni Mitchell. But at some point, you're hurting yourself when you're pulling your music, because that's a point of some type of income coming from you. And just recently, she put her stuff back on there, but Joe is still on there too. So at what point are our protests being heard?
Well, yeah, look at what happened with the Washington Post, right? And them not deciding this one election that they're not going to endorse a candidate.
Why?
And I posted it.
Tell them why, Aisha.
Because you know what? They will endorse a black person if it's male. They will endorse a woman if she is white. But they cannot, absolutely have to draw the line at a black woman of Southeast Asian descent who is married to a Jewish man. That's just a road too far for them.
And
not only that, the owner of it
decision.
He owns Amazon. So here's the other part of it too. Jeff Bezos. Here's the other part of it too. People have been pulling their subscriptions to Washington Post left and right. You've had journalists quit on the spot. Now what you need to do, you really want to hurt this man, stop buying products on Amazon, right? Stop that part. But here's the reason why he did it. Because he is worried. This is a level of cowardice in this man. He is worried. Him and the owner of the LA Times, they're both billionaires, but what are they worried about? They're worried about what Trump said he was going to do to the media, and they don't want the plug pulled on them.
And let's face it, all these people with money, all these billionaires, whatever, let's not pretend. They do what they need to do to stay on top. So a lot of these huge corporations, and I can't remember where we were speaking about it, could have been on Girlfriends Chat, Aisha, where these corporations play the straddle. They will donate to both parties so that they can have the favor of whoever's in the office.
Right.
Now, these billionaires are all about taking care of their own. So you do see the Musks, the Bezos, all those people who have this money trying to now side with Trump. Why? Because Trump has given them empty promises. He's already said where he's going to put Musk. Did you hear what I just said? He's already given Musk leeway of where he's going to allow him to do his shenanigans. Let's not forget, I don't know if very many of you all know, but a few years ago, it was found that Musk was secretly drilling a hole in Los Angeles to do a high-speed train secretly. Do you not know that we have earthquakes? You just can't go drilling in the earth that way untapped.
He's also been talking to Putin.
Thank you.
And he has some of the most. He's one of the people that has among the most government contracts.
Yes,
your tax dollars.
Yes, and of course they praised the SpaceX project this week. Okay, that came back. So they're setting Musk up to be what he wants. Exactly, he wants to be the first trillionaire, and that's what he's going for.
Okay. We're gonna, because as you ladies are sharing, I'm adding conversation topics because there's so much dropping that you guys are dropping
But
your
it's
knowledge
all
bombs.
tied in.
I know,
And
but
just be
no,
clear.
but these are separate conversation topics
Yeah.
in itself. So I'm just give me a second because we're gonna get the comments, and this is one of the nice things about both of you because you are so amazing when it comes to content. So
Yeah.
let's go back to there's comments like crazy, so I got to catch up with those first. So let's do the comments first. All right, so let's catch up. You're allowed to spell my name wrong, Michelle. Dr. Vibe is all right. So happy to be here with all tonight. Dr. Chai says, hello, Michelle. Hey, Hayward. Hey there. Michelle asks, how am I? As I always say, I'll put it up on the screen. This is what I tell people. I'm blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Thanks for asking. All right. Michelle, Dr. Chai says, Michelle, I am great. Dr. Tati says, that's another thing. It is grinding his ears that wow, international superstars like Beyonce and Kelly Rowland are standing behind her. He can only get catchy from all happy days. Dr. Tai says, Michelle Hayward, I hope you are well also. Yes, Dr. Vibe, yes, Whiteman, I thought so. Jen brought up the show, Fear Factor.
Okay, that's what it was. So.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Dr. Tati says his only claim to fame, talking about Joe Rogan, was a wretched Fear Factor. Also, yes, Washington Post and LA Times. Remember that Bezos owns Washington Post. Dr. Tite says cowardice. Is Musk's business being investigated by various U.S. government agencies? I don't know, but he wants government money to fund his projects. That's why he's doing it. And they see TikTok as a threat. Right. Dr. Tite goes, And then Michelle says, oh, that SpaceX having the boosters return is monumental. Yes.
Yeah. And you know, and here's the other part you got to keep in mind. Elon Musk, who's the guy that used to, that JD Vance worked for, who's the hedge fund guy, 2/3 of Donald Trump's campaign being funded by wealthy white men who are not citizens of this country. Think about that for a minute.
But yet he wants to refer to himself as an African American. Right. Let that stick in your craw.
Yeah, look, I had a professor, Dr. Wimbush, Dr. Vibe, did not like the phrase African American because he said literally people who lived in white people in South Africa could refer to them as African American, refer to themselves as Black. And that's one of the reasons why I have strayed away from using that term. But here's the thing. If Kamala Harris had 75% of her campaign funded by non-citizens, wealthy non-citizens, she wouldn't be doing as well as she's doing right now. She made $1 billion in her campaign, grassroots style.
Yep. Yeah, she really did. Now, let's not forget, immediately once she announced, how everyone came together for support.
You know what? I'm going to. So the only way says I just tuned in. You missed out already. You may need to watch replay, but stay with us for more. Michelle says, then let's treat Musk like an African American. And Dr. Chachi says, Musk is not African. He is a colonizer.
Yes. Let's not forget that.
So Dr. Tachi lays it down good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And so at the end of this talking point, did Trump, I absolutely believe John Kelly. Why should we not? Because guess what? Trump had the opportunity to say, no, I didn't. And what did he say? No, John Kelly's a loser. He didn't say no. He said John Kelly's a loser.
Which automatically tells you that he did.
Okay, so, and this leads me then, I'm going to pull up, I showed it at the beginning of your conversation on this topic. This is a really interesting article about 45. Okay, so I'm going to it's going to take a few minutes, but I'm going to read it because I think it's a very interesting article. So let me share it on the screen and allow me, family, to read. I think it's a good thing that we read here. All right, so this article is called 45, I Need the Kind of Generals That Hitler Had. The Republican nominee's preoccupation with dictators and his disdain for the American military is deepening. It's written by Jeffrey Goldberg, and this is from The Atlantic. So in 2020, Vanessa Gillian, a 20-year-old Army private, was bludgeoned to death by a fellow soldier at Fort Hood in Texas. The killer, aided by his girlfriend, burned Gillian's body. Gillian's remains were discovered 2 months later, buried in a riverbank near the base after a massive search. Gillian, the daughter of Mexican immigrants, grew up in Houston, and her murder sparked outrage across Texas and beyond. Fort Hood had become known as a particularly perilous assignment for female soldiers, and members of Congress took up the cause of reform. Shortly after her remains were discovered, President 45 himself invited the Gillian family to the White House. With Gillian's mother seated beside him, 45 spent 25 minutes with the family as television cameras recorded the scene. In a meeting, 45 maintained a dignified posture and expressed sympathy to Gillian's mother. Quote, I saw what happened to your daughter, Vanessa, who was a spectacular person and respected and loved by everybody, including in the military, unquote, 45 said. Later in the conversation, he made a promise, quote, if I can help you out with the funeral, I'll help. I'll help you with that, unquote, he said. Quote, I'll help you out financially. I'll help you, unquote. Natalie Quam, the family's attorney, just responded, quote, I think the military will be taking care of it, unquote. 45 replied. Okay, quote, good. They'll do a military. That's good. If you need help, I'll help you out, unquote. Later, a reporter covering the meeting asked 45, quote, have you offered to do that for other families before, unquote? 45 responded, quote, I have, personally. I have to do it personally. I can't do it through government, unquote. Then the reporter asked, quote, so you've written checks to help other families before this, unquote. 45 turned to the family still present and said, quote, I have, because some families need help. Maybe you don't need help from a financial standpoint. I have no idea what. I just think it's a horrific thing that happened. And if you need help, I'll be there to help you, unquote. This gets interesting. So a public memorial service was held in Houston 2 weeks after the White House meeting. It was followed by a private funeral and burial in a local cemetery, attended by, among others, the mayor of Houston and the city's police chief. Highways were shut down and mourners lined the streets. 5 months later, the Secretary of the Army, Ryan McCarthy, announced the results of an investigation. McCarthy cited, quote, numerous, quote, leadership failures, unquote, at Fort Hood and relieved or suspended several officers, including the base's commanding general. In a press conference, McCarthy said that the murder, quote, shocked our conscience, unquote, and, quote, forced us to take a critical look at our systems, our policies, and ourselves, unquote. So it goes a little bit further. And, okay. So in an Oval Office meeting on December 4th, 2020, officials gathered to discuss a separate national security issue. Toward the end of the discussion, 45 asked for an update on the McCarthy investigation. Excuse me, Christopher Miller, the acting Secretary of Defense, 45 had fired his predecessor, Mark Esper, 3 weeks earlier, writing in a tweet, quote, Mark Esper has been terminated, unquote, was in attendance along with Miller's chief of staff, Kash Patel. At a certain point, according to two people present in the meeting, 45 asked, did they bill us for the funeral? What did it cost? Unquote. According to the attendees and to contemporaneous notes of the meeting taken by a participant, the aide answered, yes, we received a full bill. The funeral cost $60,000. 45 became angry. Quote, it doesn't cost $60,000 to bury a blank Mexican. He turned to his chief of staff, Mark Meadows, and issued an order, quote, don't pay it, unquote. Later that day, he was still agitated. Quote, can you believe it, unquote, he said, according to witness, blank people trying to rip me off.
You know, I got to give credit to Nicole Wallace on MSNBC this week because she didn't bleep out the words. She said that people needed to hear exactly
Yes.
what he said and how he said it. And I think because part of that, I think I agree with is sane washing. Um, it's I think I think when we we fall into the habit of censoring this man, and then can't understand why we're getting the results we get. It's like the news media not covering um some of these egregious things that he does, in holding Kamala Harris to a higher standard, that they're not holding him to these double standards. And I think that it while it's getting late, very late in the campaign to do this, I think we've got to come to a stop. And the word that he used was the F word, right? But the the bigger problem of it is that there is this, you can read this article, but on the question of did Donald Trump praise Hitler, that is an audio recording that Michael Schmidt of the New York Times has John Kelly saying in his words. It's not just an article that you can read, a quote that someone said. This man said it in his own words that, yeah, and he said, and I tried to say, and he says in his own words, Trump said Hitler did some good things. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean? You don't mean Hitler, you mean somebody else. And he said, no, Hitler. And then John Kelly says, well, I said to him, you know, if you know anything, Hitler's generals tried to kill him. And the other part, that you realize that this man also doesn't know, not only did Hitler's generals try to kill him, that's why what the whole movie Valkyrie is about, right? But also too, the majority of them died by suicide.
Yeah.
As did Hitler.
Yeah. Because he could not deal with the
They
justice
didn't want
that was going to come.
They didn't want to be caught. So here's the thing. What does Donald Trump want to do? Rather than face prison for things that he did that were egregious in the face of Americans that he's playing in front of, he ran for president. Remember, this man has been running for president for 2 years. He filed after Jack Smith was assigned to the case, after they issued a search warrant at Mar-a-Lago searching for documents, and they found documents. Okay. 2 weeks later, this man is running for president. So we have to be very clear about what his intentions are too, and that anyone who thinks he's running because he wants to help the American people is highly delusional. He's running because he's trying to keep himself out of jail. And how do we know this? Because he told Hugh Hewitt or whatever, that, you know, within seconds of being inaugurated, the first thing he's going to do is fire Jack Smith.
Yeah. And put in who, y'all? And who is he going to put in as AG?
Kash Patel?
Did y'all catch that this week? Did y'all see who he's planning on tapping on AG? The judge in Florida.
Oh, Ian Cannon. Someone who barely has experience as a judge.
Okay. I'm just going to do some more comments here. JJ Marr says many right-wingers in private honor Nazi Germany.
Yeah.
And Mignon Cam, good to see you. Hitler's first victims were disabled people.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break. I've added one or two conversation pieces for our session tonight, but I know the ladies will be able to handle them because they're just super talented. But what we're going to do is going to give them a break because I have a feeling there's more heat in the digital streets that's coming out tonight.
As Trump. And I don't think he's going to pay anybody anything. I think all it is to get people to register to vote for the sake of registering. But here's the deal. Let him do it. He can do it. It's $1 million a day. So a whole bunch of people have to compete for that. It's not like we don't have a lottery system in this country and people don't know how the lottery works, right? So there's that part of it. But here's the other part of it too. It doesn't matter if they're registered. What matters is that they show up. People can make all kinds of promises and come out to register, but if they're disaffected people who aren't registered in the first place, the likelihood that they're actually going to show up to the polls is even
Yeah.
lower. Right now, they're just showing up and putting their name on a paper because they want to try and win $1 million. They have
It's
no
just
intention of
a
showing
stunt.
up to
It's
the polls.
another stunt,
And
just
it's about
like Trump stunts.
and let me tell you something. It's about as ridiculous. They're doing all kinds of shady things. It's about as ridiculous as something I was reading yesterday, where you've got this one Republican group saying, "Oh my gosh, we registered 180,000 Amish in Lancaster County." Well, guess what? Elon Musk's own website, own social media, had to issue a community note that said, "There's only 35,000 Amish people in Lancaster." Not 100. And there's only 90,000 in the entire state of Pennsylvania. So how did they register 180,000 to vote in that one county? So that's being looked at because people believe, and they've heard that there are fake registrations, and someone behind it is one of the electors. But even beyond that, the other part of it is that, guess what? Traditionally, the Amish don't vote.
No.
So there's that. So at this point, the legal question surrounding what Elon Musk is doing, at this point, let him do it, because the only thing is it's going to do is, if the Harris campaign gets involved, is tie them up in court, and it won't do a bit of good because the election's in 9 days. What they need to do is what they're doing right now. She has her legal team forced and ready to go to battle these contested races that they know are coming up. It's not even worth putting time, energy, or money behind, because guess what? If Donald Trump, and this should tell you this to answer your initial question again, Dr. Vibe, if Donald Trump was winning, they wouldn't have to bribe people with $1 million.
Yeah, there's a truth telling in it right there. They're just pulling out all the stops.
All right. Well, I want to do some comments, and then some people may not know about the story, so I want to read about it. But Dr. Touch is exactly, but this could be why he's acting more erratic during his rallies. Insanity defense, anybody? Neon Cam says Elon tries to give money away on his X. The comments on there are ridiculous. The only way says being seeing Elon ads.
And look, Donald Trump doesn't pay his bills. Elon Musk is upside down in Twitter. Do you really think he's giving $1 million away?
Just saying.
Michelle says, I was about to ask, did the Amish start voting? Are they driving cars too? So
Teslas.
There you go, Michelle. Mignon says Michelle met an Amish family when traveling. They know people who drive cars.
They know people who drive cars. Do they drive cars?
Well, again, it makes sense that I guess Mr. Musk again wants to get that government funding, so he's doing whatever he can.
Absolutely.
To get. So this comes from a story, and I'm going to just read from it briefly for our family. I didn't know Elon was doing this. Well, you don't know until you come here. But here's a story: the legal questions surrounding Elon Musk's $1 million prize for swing state voters. Tesla CEO Elon Musk plans to give out $1 million prize to registered voters in swing states as he stumps for former President 45, has raised concerns and could be illegal, some election law experts suggest. Every day until the November 5th election, Musk, the world's richest man, plans to give $1 million prize to people who sign a petition in support of the First and Second Amendments of the Constitution, which guarantee freedom of speech and the right to bear arms, among other rights.
Here's the thing, but here's the thing. He's not doing this to get people to register to vote. What he's doing it is for the very reason I said. He is the distractor. He's trying to get the legal teams for the states and the Harris legal teams tied up in stuff with him legally. So they're taking their resources, their money, their people, and their eye off the ball when it comes to Trump contesting these elections.
So it says, in order to win the money, petitioners have to be a registered voter from one of the following battleground states: Pennsylvania, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin, and North Carolina. Experts say that the prize could be a violation of federal law, which says anyone who pays or accepts payments to register to vote could be fined up to $10,000 and be fined up to $10,000 and receive up to 5 years in imprisonment. So now we have people.
Well, he's interfering in an election. Personally, I think this is something that should get him deported.
Thank you. That right there. But they're not going to.
And in a response to online arguments that Musk is paying to register Republicans, the tech mogul tweeted that the winner of the prize is selected by a petitioner that supports constitutional rights. Quote, you can be from any or no political party and you don't even have to vote.
He's
Unquote.
lying. See, that's the key. I told you. You don't even have to vote.
He says, in other words, Musk's defense of the prize relies on the fact that it isn't directly handed out for voter registration, but rather for signing the petition. Really?
Oh,
Okay.
Dr. Vibe, this is crooked as the day is long, as my grandmother used to
say. All right. And Dr.
If he wanted to go sign the petition, all he really had to do was go do one on change.org like everybody else.
So Dr. Chachi says usually the Mennonites drive the Amish around. All right. We got some people who know our stuff. So there we go. So I wanted to bring that out because you were talking about Mr. Musk. So I said, oh, I don't know if we've ever talked about that.
Oh, don't even call him Mr. I can't stand that weasel.
You know what's so funny? Musk is the fragrance I like the least. It really is.
Classic. That's great.
It's a funky smell to me. I can't stand it.
That was the Musk. That's classic. I love it.
Whale pheromones smell better. I can't.
Oh my gosh. All right.
And if you've ever smelled whale pheromone oil, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Chachi says, great show as usual. Absolutely. The ladies rock the house as usual. If you don't know, you don't know. So I'm just saying. Ladies, as always, want to say thank you for taking your valuable time to share with the family here. And as always, we want you to tell us how to get a hold of you. Here's a simple one.
I'm simple. I am Laura Lalaki, international real estate agent and vocalist. And you can find me here at bit.ly/Laura Key Info. Now, listen, I actually have something good for you right now. I'm seeing there are a lot of people who are reeling from their finances. So I created a really great free workbook that says getting a handle on your money. And it's a 21 to 30 day challenge that you can write down everything that you're doing and actually look at what you're spending. The minute you start deciding that you want to get a handle on your budget is the day that you will start getting a handle on your budget. So go ahead and download that workbook. It's free. And let's not get wrapped up in the holidays that are around the corner.
Facts. Aisha K. Staggers.
You can find me on Instagram at Aisha Staggers, at AK Staggers, Twitter at Aisha Staggers, and check me out on Medium. Aisha Staggers, just search my name, and I have a whole bunch of articles I've been writing on aging, different perspectives, what I feel about this election, and things like that.
Wonderbar. All right, so let's bring here how you can get a hold of me. And there's stuff I usually do during the conversation and I forgot to do it. So I'm going to multi-purpose right now because I'm going to put all the stuff that I shared at the beginning of the conversation now, but these are all the places. Oh, here we go. So Michelle says Kamala's going to win. She also says Georgia and North Carolina have been gerrymandered. Yes, that's a whole other conversation. So let me just do a few things here. So I'm going to be multi-purposing. So these are all the places that you can get a hold of me. Website, the drvibeshow.com. YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Dr. Vibe Show. Instagram at the drvibeshow. X/Twitter at drvibeshow. Email address dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. And you know something? I just sent something out, and this is have to apologize. I sent some wrong stuff out, so I've got to correct something. So just give me a second here, family. Get the right stuff out to the right platforms. All right. This is why. All right. So what I'm doing here is sharing some information. So let's do this. All right. Okay. Let me do that. See, I'm multi-purposing in real time here. So let me take that off. And do this. So just give me a second, fam. I'm putting all the stuff for Primetime Saturday in all your comment sections. So just give me a quick second so I can just share this out because I want to represent the ladies properly. Let's do that. I just got one more to do and we will be good. So let me see. There's one more. Discord and then the store. All right, I'm going to send that out. 100%. Do that. I guess when you do 5,000 of these things, you can do this on the fly. All right. So let's finish it off. Live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller to get stronger. Block assumptions. Then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And always, just as always, don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourself grace. And one last thing, where you can watch replays of this epic conversation. You can watch replays of Primetime Saturday with Aisha and Lala at the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and the Dr. Vibe Show website, the DRVIBESHOW.com. So thank you for hanging in there at the end, family. I had forgot that stuff. The conversation was so epic. I forgot to do that. So don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And as always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get smaller, get stronger, block assumptions, and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. And I'll say it again. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. Remember to give yourselves grace and follow us. Share the information. Follow Aisha, Lala, myself, and share it out with people who are all along the network. God bless. Peace to well. Keep the faith and walk good.